talking about.
You all ready for this?
This is a sham.
No.
Nope.
Y'all, just stop.
Get real.
Welcome to DBL. We got the best crew in town right here next to me.
Yeah, no shade to Sam.
And including me. And Sam. And we're thinking of Sam.
Yeah, we love each other.
All right. How many of you tuned in to watch the President's State of the Union speech last night? Clap if you did. Huh? We got a little recap for you. If you didn't, don't worry. Little cliff notes. The president started with a call for bipartisanship with the newly divided Congress. Let's take a quick look at that.
And to my Republican friends, if we could work together the last Congress, there's no reason we can't work together and find consensus on important things in this Congress as well.
But then things kind of went off the rails after the president accused Republicans of threatening Social Security and Medicare. Watch this moment.
Some Republicans want Medicare and Social Security to sunset. I'm not saying it's a majority. Let me give you, anybody who doubts it, contact my office. I'll give you a copy. I'll give you a copy of the proposal. That means Congress doesn't vote. Well, I'm glad to see you. No, I tell you, I enjoy conversion.
He then went on, if you didn't know, to then basically rope-a-dope everyone into standing up for Social Security. But DBL Nation, we want to know, what grade would you give the president's speech last night? Go to dblvote.com to weigh in. It's a letter grade. What'd you guys think? I texted you. I was all happy for your junk fees were mentioned.
I'm going to get to that. But I'm going to serve it right back to you. You're our girl.
I'm gonna lob
What did
it
you
right
think
back.
yesterday?
No,
What grade would you give?
Oh, he came out with some fighting words. The populist, middle class, brass tacks, kitchen table stuff was discussed, and it was really, really inspiring to see him masterfully, and I mean this, it will go down in history, political history, nerd history, of one of the best State of the Union moments when everyone was against him, and he used his experience as the Lion of the Senate to negotiate at the State of the Union that they wouldn't cut Social Security in real time. He said, oh, I'm glad we all agree. So stand up for it. And Kevin McCarthy went like this. He had to stand up. You had to stand up for seniors. He effectively did that during a speech. That is the Joe Biden you don't know behind closed doors that can negotiate for so long, for those 30, 40 years, that you really, that was a masterful performance. I thought the first 45 minutes were terribly boring, and then it got exciting.
Wow.
There we go.
That was a speech for CNN right there.
But Jeff, I did think about you with the hidden fees.
And then the junk fees.
Do you want to just get right to it?
Please.
Okay, so the Junk Fee Prevention Act. I'm not even kidding. I would vote for somebody if they could pass this bill. All the processing fees, resort fees. I just bought tickets that were expensive, but add another ticket on because that's how much you're paying in processing fees. To get an airplane ticket, don't tell me I owe you $50 more after I buy my ticket. It enrages me. Cell phones. Wow, a round of applause.
Because it's true.
It enrages me. It boils my blood to the point where it's taking years off my life, literally because I'm an angry person. If you pass this, I will vote for you. I am not even kidding. People could say whatever they want. Won't you care about the economy? Of course I do. All their good
Doesn't
stuff.
That contribute
but
to the
this
economy?
is what contributes to me voting for you as a president. If you pass this, you got my vote.
Wow.
I think Jeff really represents a large segment of the population. It's about what people really are like losing years of their life over, and it may not be.
Don't even get me started with parking lots and things like that.
Right.
Yeah,
But no,
that's Kamala Harris.
Sorry, Erica.
I'm being very serious.
I agree with you, Erica.
You talked about the performance, and I think a lot of these, like whether it's the State of the Union, whether it's elections, a lot of it is so performative. Most people see through the performance, and they're like, but what about the issues that I lose sleep over? The issues that really affect me and my family every single day. And those issues aren't necessarily the one single voter turning issue that everyone's speaking about.
Right.
It's like those daily, because when you talk about something, in Jeff's case, processing fees, it's one thing to be like, I'm going on a trip. It's something different to be like, and also when I'm paying my cell phone bill, and also when I'm trying to, retain something for my child, and also this. So it's like a daily occurrence.
It adds up.
That really adds up. And so, yeah, I can understand why Jeff would say, if you could pass this, then I would vote for you because that's how much it affects me and my family.
I love that you said that. And may I add, that's very Joe Biden, the blue-collar worker from Delaware and Scranton that just wants to get rid of. Remember, he goes, hotels have resort fees. They're not even resorts.
Yeah. I mean,
I thought that was funny. No one laughed.
That talks to people where they are, and I don't know if
That was
you
kind of
need
like
to
Joe
move on.
Biden's speech.
Yeah, it was. a lot of silence there. Let's go ahead and to see what grade. Oh, we're going to do that at the end. Let's keep the voting open. So the Republicans chose Arkansas Governor Sarah Huckabee Sanders to deliver the response, and she drew a very sharp contrast to Biden. Let's take a quick look.
I'll be the first to admit, President Biden and I don't have a lot in common. I'm for freedom. He's for government control. At 40, I'm the youngest governor in the country. And at 80, he's the oldest president in American history. In the radical left's America, Washington taxes you and lights your hard-earned money on fire. But you get crushed with high gas prices, empty grocery shelves, and our children are taught to hate one another on account of their race, but not to love one another or our great country.
So what do we think of Sanders' response? She also banned racism in classes, so we're good now.
Why didn't we think of that earlier?
Yeah, I don't know if school is necessarily where children are taught to hate one another. I think that comes from the home, and if we don't have things that are in place in our school systems where people are coming together in diversity and should be at least in some degree of harmony, not having the infrastructure, not having the curriculum in order to teach our children about where these very antiquated, hateful things and ideology come from, especially when they're getting it from home. No doubt about it, they're getting it from home. Yeah. Also, I take issue with, we're always having these conversations about ageism and that feeling
that's
of,
a good point.
you know,
That's what I
at
was thinking when
40,
she said
I'm the
that.
youngest, and at 80, he's the oldest. Like, you know, it was an indictment on who he is as a person.
A lot of people fear that, though.
But also, like, let's be clear about this, too. Like, with age comes wisdom and experience, something that she at 40, which blew my mind.
I know.
Something I wouldn't even have been able to say had she not made it a topic of conversation.
Yeah.
I'm 42, and I did not know we could have gone to high school together.
Yeah.
I'm just going to be real clear about that. I'm serious.
Beyonce is older than she is. Yes, it's
I'm serious. So don't make that an issue when me at 42 doesn't feel like we are even in the same like school of thought when it comes to our ways of thinking. Like, you're not exactly getting the youth vote. So let's not make that thing a thing in that way. I mean, I know people say it, but for her to say it like that just was like, it's something different.
It felt wrong, yeah. Well, there were some other things that went down that people are talking about, including this picture of Marjorie Taylor Greene pointing and yelling at the president in what some are comparing to a Cruella de Vil type of outfit.
Where is she going?
Lock up your Dalmatians, huh? But check this out. She seems to be a lot like this meme from The Real Housewives.
That's Taylor Armstrong, by the way.
Oh, that's good.
She'll be returning back to Real Housewives of Orange County this season.
Mazel tov, Taylor. Okay, lots of people are also commenting on Senator Kirsten Sinema's yellow dress.
Oh, I could teach her how to wear that.
Jokes about it online. Let me tell you, in D.C., you don't wear. She did that on purpose. She wanted to look like a moth and a caterpillar coming out at the same time.
First of all, that dress is fire. I would love to teach her how to wear it.
Right.
I don't know where she's going in that dress.
Right. Yeah, she's going to Nowheresville here. And how about this? Not great. It was a kiss between First Lady Jill Biden and Second Gentleman Doug Emhoff. Is that weird? Was that just the camera angle? I thought it was incredibly weird.
I didn't.
Al, they kissed on the mouth.
I don't think I looked at the angle. They didn't kiss on the mouth. And even if they did, I'm sorry. I don't mind seeing human beings have a little emotion on television. I'm tired.
Dude.
I honestly,
I don't know about this,
I'm dead serious about this. Like, we're looking at these political candidates.
A little emotion.
I don't mind seeing people being affectionate with people.
Yeah, get a handful while you're there.
Why not?
We're in that society. We're living there. Yeah, it's totally okay.
I guess.
I hear what you're saying, but maybe not the State of the Union with Queen First Lady and
to
Second
dap
Gentleman.
them up like LeBron does
I
his
would
sons?
like a kiss, maybe at least an attempt to turn. They went straight in.
I give you guys a kiss on the cheek when we're at a party.
Right, and what do we do, Al? We do this.
That's what she did. Okay.
Alrighty. Finally.
Talking about a matter of inches.
I apologize. Mitt Romney and Congressman George Santos exchanged some heated words with Romney, really telling him, and we found from lip readers, you ought to be embarrassed. He continued saying, you're an ass. It was a very interesting conversation, and afterwards, Mitt Romney was asked, how do you feel after the speech? And he said he shouldn't be in Congress.
Absolutely not. I mean, I found it so ironic that Marjorie Taylor Greene is yelling liar while she's sitting next to George Santos. I mean, we got to go. Yeah.
Good
That's
point.
Amazing.
Such a great point. All right, what grade would you give Biden's State of the Union address? Far majority, 71% of you said A.
Wow.
I am surprised.
I thought it was excellent.
I thought it was excellent too, but I was surprised at it.
71%?
Yeah,
No wonder why I get hate mail all the time. Jeez.
They all are on you. All right, coming up on DBL, we're talking with lifestyle expert Kim Douglas all about how you can celebrate with your friends on Galentine's Day. And a big night for LeBron James as he sets an all-time scoring record. We're going to talk about it next. It's basketball.
Cavs.
Our viewers are talking about DBL.
Yes!
I like that.
Leaves me speechless. I'm like blushing.
Thank you, thank you.
That's emotional.
Do I want to sit there and watch them? Yes, I do.
We're very weird. Hey guys, let's take a look at what Taylor's wearing in her hair. What is that?
So cute. Clips.
Oh, that's so.
I've been wanting those.
That's very 1990s. Yeah, let's show.
Hi guys.
Is this back now? The 1990s?
Very back. I got some too. I just got brave enough to wear them. I wore them to a concert though.
Would I look ridiculous?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
No, yeah.
No.
Yeah, I'm too old.
Yeah, you are.
All right.
But it's not a bad thing.
Right.
It's
I like being old.
Let Taylor and her cohort of young people have their
Cohorts.
youth.
I agree.
Stop trying to.
Yeah, but that was cool when I was young, so I feel like I can still be cool and wear them.
But you're younger than I am.
That's true.
Yeah, but you're like you're brunch age now. It's not quite the right quote anyway. Now I'm like too old for brunch.
Okay.
I would have ruined brunch if I showed up. Yeah, they'd be like, I think one of the silent partners
you're
is
never too
here
old for
No, I don't
for the
think you're ever too old
restaurant.
for brunch.
Yeah, you
You can turn
are.
it into
The
tea
brunch is
instead.
a
You
young
just call it
people's
tea.
game.
Someone.
Brunch, yeah. We got to take
I
it
thought
on.
it was a.
We got to.
You ever go to a diner?
Diners is where we should be. We go to the diner and tear it up.
I don't mind a
years old,
diner,
not that
but I
that's
mean,
bad.
I think brunch is. You walk your dog,
Brunch
you do
is
your
for young
thing, you go have a
people.
little brunch.
Yeah, and then you go have a little brunch. You
On
get
my
your
day
stuff
off-
done- yeah, you get your stuff done early in the morning, and then you go enjoy yourself.
If
at
my
brunch.
kids, like if I have a day off during the week, which is rare, and my kids are in school, me and my wife hit up a brunch.
Yeah,
like
that's
our thing
lovely.
to do.
Lovely.
Yeah.
I'm not talking about Sunday
guys-
young people. We're still drinking brunch.
Do you do this
You're-
with the
you're
mimosa?
having-
You have the
you're having a late
champagne.
breakfast
They
with
give you
your
the
wife.
OJ, and you go.
Oh, you're talking about.
With the OJ.
Yeah.
Just me. Did you used to do that with the
that's more
mimosas when you were
vacation.
drinking? They give you the champagne and the
Right.
OJ, and then
wake up.
you're like, "Thank you," and then they walk away and you go, "Boop."
Yeah.
The OJ.
And I mean, they know that you're going to do that. It's
Yeah,
terrible
I'm like,
shit.
just walk away.
I was there for
Welcome back to DBL. LeBron James made history last night, breaking the NBA all-time scoring record. And if you missed it, here is the historic moment.
Coming to the end of the third quarter. LeBron James, a shot at history. LeBron stands alone. The NBA's all-time scoring record now belongs to LeBron James.
Oh my God, Kareem was there. Some people online reacted with goat emojis. Afterwards, the game was stopped, and the former record holder that you saw there, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, passed a basketball to King
It looks like
James.
the ball went over to Kareem's like side of the yard, and he's mad because the kids is like, stop letting the ball come over the fence. Yeah.
Stay in your lane. The two greats then hugged it out, and LeBron thanked his family and the whole community for supporting him. Let's take a look.
I just want to say I thank you so much because I wouldn't be me without y'all. All y'all help, all y'all passion, all y'all sacrifices helped me get to this point. I would never, ever in a million years dreamt this even better than what it is tonight. So, man, thank you guys.
Yeah. I mean, it goes back to what I said about the kiss. I don't mind seeing a little bit of emotion. Everybody's so robotic and
Why
strange.
are you gonna conflate those?
Because it's the same thing. He's just like, he's overwhelmed by the moment, and I kind of liked seeing a little bit of reality
So
on
let's
television.
make out with the first lady. I'm excited.
It wasn't a make out. It
What the hell?
It was an exchange amongst friends, but I will say this: it was really cool to not only see LeBron from the start. I remember hearing about him when I was living in Miami. I was listening to sports radio talking about this kid out of Akron in the 8th grade, and to find out he's from where I'm from, and for him to go to the Cavs, go back, give us a title, which is the only. It's a bigger deal than people know. It's the way that people connect with their families. And LeBron's given me so many great moments. He's given us so much entertainment. He rebuilt the city of Cleveland. Downtown was terrifying. Now there's casinos and hotels because of him. So I hope people understand, and we're not going to talk about the schools that he set up,
right.
The incredible father that he is, the champion that he is, the fact that he's had no scandals. The most famous person in the world, arguably, one of them. No scandal. I mean, what a life to have led. He looks incredible. He looks like he can still play for another 5 years. He's going to play in the NBA with his son. If you have a problem with him, I don't know who else you're looking to. What an idol, and what a person to look up to and to try and follow.
That was beautiful, Al.
That was
beautiful.
perfect, except conflating politics in there. You had it. That would have been a perfect clip. You had it.
I thought it was good. I thought it was good. All right, coming up on DBL, lifestyle expert Kim Douglas tells us why Valentine's doesn't have to always be about having a romantic partner. How you can celebrate the friendships in your life, too.
Buying a car can be stressful, and according to a viral social media post, so could buying car insurance. This tweet, with more than 900,000 views, claims a rise in car thefts of Kias and Hyundais is causing major insurance companies to stop issuing new policies. But is that true? Let's verify. Our sources are the Highway Loss Data Institute, the City of Seattle, and insurance companies State Farm and Progressive. Thefts of Kias and Hyundais are on the rise. Among 2015 to 2019 model year vehicles, theft claims were nearly twice as common for Hyundai and Kia vehicles than all other manufacturers, according to the Highway Loss Data Institute. In Seattle, thefts were up more than 360% for Kias and more than 500% for Hyundais from 2021 to 2022. In Wisconsin, the amount insurers paid out for stolen Kias and Hyundais was 30 times higher in 2021 than in 2019. So, what's going on here? The Institute says it's because many Kias and Hyundais lack electronic immobilizers, a feature standard on most vehicles that prevents thieves from bypassing the ignition. That's led insurance companies like Progressive and State Farm to stop issuing new policies for Hyundai and Kia vehicles in some areas. A spokesperson for Progressive told Verify, quote, "During the past year, we've seen theft rates for certain Hyundai and Kia vehicles more than triple. And in some markets, these vehicles are almost 20 times more likely to be stolen than other vehicles." So we can verify, yes, some car insurance companies have stopped issuing new policies for certain Hyundai and Kia vehicles in some areas. Both Progressive and State Farm say they are not canceling any existing policies. With your Verify, I'm Ariande Till.
Welcome back. Can you believe Valentine's Day is next week? Huh? Cool. If your reaction was not excitement, you're not alone. That's why we brought in our favorite lifestyle expert, Kim Douglas, to redefine it for us. Check it out. We love you, Kim.
We love you, Kim, every time you come on. You used to celebrate Valentine's Day with your husband, Jerry, for 40 years before he passed, Kim. How do you move on from celebrating as a couple to still enjoying it by yourself?
Well, Jeff, I know you have a beautiful wife and a gorgeous family, so you can certainly relate to all those years of having, your loved one next to you. You don't even have to think about it. But I had two choices, Jeff. So either I sit and cry about it or I recreate it. I had great years, and now I'm going to just flip it and change it up a little bit, do a pivot. So now I've turned it into Galentine's Day because I'm surrounded by so many wonderful girlfriends that have circled me in my time of difficulty and need, and they're all around me. And I thought, I've got to show them that I love them because our friends are our chosen family.
That's right. Okay, so I want to get all on this Galentine's Day. First of all, am I invited?
Welcome.
You know, how do we celebrate it? And let's be honest, is it just for young or single people? Is this for everybody?
Well, you know what, Al? I haven't gotten your bouquet of flowers yet. I'm expecting that very, very soon. You know, I just feel like sometimes it can become for men that pressure cooker of the Hallmark card. You know, you've got to have the flowers and the weird chocolate and all of that. And so this time I've decided that with my girlfriends, what we're going to do is we're going to go on a hike. We're going to go on a walk. We're going to go to a movie or get Chinese food and watch a documentary. So you can do whatever you want and just recreate it in a really fun and wonderful way.
I'm here for that.
And Al, here's a really great one. So you know what else? I tend to send to my girlfriends care packages, and that means that they don't have to cook. They don't have to go to the restaurant with the high prices, the prefix menu, not enough servers. And what you can do is I use this company called Spoonful of Comfort. It goes around the globe, and you can get anything from a blanket to cookies to warm soups and rolls, and I send it to 5 of my favorite girlfriends that I know are going to be spending Valentine's Day alone.
I love it. Kim, they of course gave me this question. Who can we celebrate Galentine's Day if you don't have any gal friends? No, I'm just kidding. If your friends don't live nearby, and much I would hope to be celebrating with you, what can you do? Do you Zoom?
Okay, so Tori and Sam especially, but all of you truly. Like Tori and Sam, we really do. I feel like we're friends.
Absolutely.
And we are friends on Instagram. Sam, I comment about all your kids. Tori, you are hilarious. I did a post today about stripping, but it was more about a credit card than a strip.
I saw that. Good, Kim.
Yeah, we're constantly back and forth. So Instagram is a great place. Here's another place I go. Online communities, you guys. There's one called The After Party. Woohoo! And it's women the same age as I am. We all have the same, we align with the same views. We're talking about a time in our life where we are right now. Questions, answers, it's always buzzing. The After Party is great. Also, there's another one called Daily Blast Live on YouTube. You can know it. It's I go there and I've made friends with all the people that are like, Kim, that was fun. Oh, I love that. Oh, where'd you get your shirt? It's just so great. You have a community all around you. All you have to do is reach out and grab it.
Our community is already singing your praises. They love you, and we do have a really good group of people that come on every day. We appreciate you so much, Kim. Thank you for helping us feel the love, DBL Nation. If you have not yet followed Kim, you've got to on Instagram @Kim Douglas. Be a part of our community for all of your lifestyle, beauty, and pro-aging tips. Thank you, Kim.
Right?
We love you.
I love you.
We'll be right back.
Bye.
Verify here to fact check the State of the Union and the Republican response. Here you can see the sources we went to. One of the first things President Biden did in his speech was take credit for economic growth during his presidency, citing booming jobs numbers.
After we've created, with the help of many people in this room, 12 million new jobs, more jobs created in 2 years than any president's created in 4 years because of you all.
The first half of that claim is true. According to the Bureau of Labor Statistics, there were 143 million jobs when Biden took office. Now, 2 years later, there are 155 million. But the second half of the claim is false. The BLS has data going back to 1939, and we found that between 1996 and 2000, when Bill Clinton was president, more than 12.4 million jobs were added. That's more than the 12.1 million added in Biden's 2 years. Now, those years span Clinton's first and second terms in office, so the growth wasn't just in one term, but it was over one 4-year span. Next, Biden also claimed he'd taken huge steps towards balancing the budget.
My administration has cut the deficit by more than $1.7 trillion.
That's true. According to the Federal Reserve, the national deficit before Biden took office was more than $3.1 trillion. By 2022, that number had dropped below $1.4 trillion. No other 2-year span saw a decrease that large since the Fed began reporting that data in 1901. Still, the claim needs context. The deficit ballooned above $3 trillion in 2020 because of massive spending programs the government launched to respond to the pandemic. So a lot of the deficit shrinking is a result of those programs expiring, not necessarily any specific action taken by Biden. Okay, moving on to the Republican response from Arkansas Governor Sarah Huckabee Sanders.
100,000 Americans a year are now killed from drug overdoses, largely from fentanyl.
We can verify that's true. The CDC's most recent data puts drug overdose deaths at 101,000 over the last 12 months. Roughly 70,000 of those deaths are from synthetic opioids, like fentanyl. It's a figure President Biden himself highlighted in the State of the Union, calling for more drug detection equipment at the border. But Sanders also claimed the drugs came across the southern border. But where the fatal drugs are coming from simply isn't tracked. With your State of the Union Verify, I'm Casey Decker.
This February, love is in the air with a luxury included vacation to Sandals Dunn's River. Watch DBL every day for a word of the day. Then enter at dailyblastlive.com/sandals for your chance to win a 4-day, 3-night escape for 2 to beautiful Jamaica. The winner will be announced on DBL March 1st. Stop dreaming and start entering for your chance to win the trip of a lifetime. Today's Sandals word of the day is luxury. Watch DBL every day for a word of the day. Then enter at dailyblastlive.com/sandals for your chance to win a 4-day, 3-night escape for 2 to beautiful Jamaica.
Ah, luxury. I love
I
that.
already won.
You didn't win. Welcome back. If you're looking to remodel your bathroom, there are some things you can do to help you get everything right the first time. We're talking about it in today's tips, sponsored by Jacuzzi. First, bathroom lighting matters. In a place where you're inspecting your face, get the lighting right. Next, address bathroom ventilation. Depending on the size, some fans can be too noisy. And finally, most importantly, pick flooring that's going to stand up to daily use like tile. If you want to start your remodel, Jacuzzi can help you do it the right way with a spa-like experience. Jacuzzi offers an unmatched, stress-free remodeling process. So visit jacuzzibathremodel.com or call 1-800-523-1523.
I really want a jacuzzi.
You should get one.
Yeah, you should.
I don't know if I have space, but I think we can make it happen.
Can you have a jacuzzi like just outside in your, I guess it's a hot
it's
tub.
called a hot tub.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, DBL Nation. Okay, you only have a couple more days. I'm so sorry. To help our very own Erica Cobb win an NAACP Image Award, you have until Friday to cast your vote. And it's super simple. So just scan the QR code on your screen, go to the podcast category, click on Outstanding Society and Culture Podcast, and cast your vote for Come Back with Erica Cobb.
Yeah. Thank you, guys. Thank you for all of you who have already voted, and thank you for everyone who's been supporting.
Rock the vote. Rock the vote. Bye, guys.